Hi everyone and welcome to Book Club with Bay. I am Bay and this is Bay. Say hi, Bay.
Hi, Bay.
And this is the other Bay. Say hi.
Hello.
And today we are retreading old waters. We're talking about Evermore, the first book in the Immortals series by Alison Noel. And we did these books a long time ago. I don't even remember when.
I think we did the first two books. I think you rage quit halfway through book 3. I think
we did the first couple of books. I rage quit through one of the books, and
Addie's mission when we get to that book will be to guess the scene that made you rage quit.
Yes, that is going to be
because it definitely wasn't this book. Because I'll already go ahead and say I was waiting for something to make me like super upset in this book.
Yeah,
and I didn't find it. Real quick though, trigger warning for this stream for alcohol abuse. We'll be discussing teenage alcohol abuse. Like, I just, it's something I want to go ahead and start doing is like
death of a whole family.
Is actually death of a whole family, but that's like par for the course in books. Is death of a whole family. You just kind of know that.
Batman syndrome.
Batman syndrome. That's a whole thing. But also, teenage alcohol abuse is another thing. I just figure we should be.
Also, trigger warning for my roots.
Yeah, also mine. I figured we should
I went to the salon today, so mine are blended.
I'm going next week, so it's fine.
Hairdressers are reopening next week, so I'm waiting to hear back for what to book my appointment for, because this is going to take a lot longer to fix than a normal appointment. Because normally when I go, because I've actually been good. I've been good. I would let it get worse than this previously, but I've been good lately. And so, like, my regrowth would only get about that long, and it is significantly more because hairdressers have been shut for months. So
next week we're deleting the red. So
we are conformitying because we're all going to the hairdresser. Or I already went.
True.
Conformity is reigning supreme.
Yes, and I will be going in the next couple weeks. I don't know when yet. I need to wait till I hear.
And we all went for root-specific purposes.
Yeah, I'm going because
also yellow on my end. Bit yellow.
I mean, I'm going because my hair is not holding color anymore.
Root, yes, root is a major factor.
Yes, root's a major factor.
I wanted to chop off 5 or 6 inches, but I didn't mention that.
Like, my hair is just not holding color anymore. Because it's much healthier now, and so like it used to hold the red great when it was in crap shape.
Unhealthy hair holds.
But unhealthy hair holds color amazing, and now that it's healthy, it's just not holding color. So I'm like,
I could not dye this a colorful thing because my hair is so healthy right now. They did so many treatments on it, and it's so soft and happy.
No, my hair is my hair is really soft.
It looks really
healthy.
soft with how you're moving it.
It looks so soft. It feels just as soft. I'm just gonna tell you.
Yeah, my hair is very healthy now, and so now it just won't hold the red anymore. And honestly, I'm tired of fighting with it. So I'm just like, fuck it. We're undoing. We're just gonna. It's gonna be brown, and we're just gonna do permacolor, do it brown, and I'm gonna stop arguing with it, and then I can go swimming again.
Just in time for winter.
Just in time for winter, it'll be great.
It's fine. It's still 85 degrees in South Carolina, so.
Right? But anyway, so we were looking at Alison Noel's website, and we were talking about Saving Zoe, which was a movie.
Based on
and we were discussing the names of these characters, so you can tell who's the main character, because the main character, like of this book, her name is Ever, and her sister's name is Riley. And then in Saving Zoe, Zoe is the sister's name, and Echo is the name of the main character.
Yeah,
and there's some weird side character names.
I can live with Echo as a name better, I guess, because I've had a couple. Like, I've watched a lot of Joss Whedon shows in my time, right? And Dollhouse was one of them, and the main character in that is Echo. However, that's a designation. It's not actually. That was not. Everyone there, that's like
that's not their government name. That's not their government name.
It's the phonetic alphabet. They have.
Yeah.
There's whiskey. There's tango. There's alcohol. You know.
Oh, it also starts with an E. Oh my god! Wait.
Yeah.
Hold on.
But at
I'll
least-
start with. Wait a minute.
We have like Haven in this book. Who else? There's some other side characters that have some freaking weird names.
Layla.
Drina.
Layla. Okay.
Drina. There's some
Um,
side character that's with like Stacia or whatever her freaking name was. Stacia, but there was another one with Stacia that's one of Stacia's friends.
Dairy.
That was named
That was
like
Anna.
Preach or something like that.
Yeah. I
Oh.
don't know.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna open up the ebook while we're here. But at least in this one, right? The child with the weird name is the older child. You know, like parents were like, that was stupid.
We're gonna fix this now, yeah.
Yeah, and Riley's fine. Like Riley, it's Riley is the kind of name where it's like it's not weird, but it's not like but it's not like Jesse.
But it's not one of the most
so if you want to be a little bit different,
common name.
But you know, and that's kind of the theme we went with our kids' names. Like, you know, they're not weird names, but they're not like I doubt there's gonna be any kids in their school with their names, and it's fine. Although I have, if we would ever have any more children, I'm going to put in the search. Actually, I'll just say it. If we ever had any more kids, like I like the names of the girls like Penelope and Genevieve.
Do you mean Penelope?
No, not Penelope. Although my preferred one is Genevieve, but it would annoy me if I ever had another girl and named her that because I would want the Celtic pronunciation, but with the French G. So it'd be Genevieve, not Genevieve or Genevieve.
Yeah, one of Christian's aunts is named Genevieve. They have some weird names, like very extra names. There's like, I'm gonna have to ask him when he gets back in here, but Genevieve is one of them, and it makes me mad. I'm like, your name's Genevieve. Get
when
out.
When we were listening to the Die For Me audiobooks and it got to Genevieve, I was so confused as to who it was because I'd only read them, and so I knew Genevieve was a person, but they were saying Genevieve, and I get why because it's they're pronouncing it the French way.
That's the correct pronunciation.
That's correct, but pronunciation in French. But I was so confused. I was like, who the heck is Genevieve? I was like, why are there so many Jeans in this book?
Yes, because there was it's written. There was like a John, a Genevieve, and a Jean.
And a Jean Baptiste.
Yes, and so they were all just Jean, though it's all pronounced Jean. And I'm like, how many freaking Jeans are there in this series?
Yeah, that didn't lend very well to audiobook.
No, it didn't. But written down, it was fine.
Written, but because they're spelled very differently every single time. Yeah, every name.
It just didn't work. It just didn't work spoken. Anyway, so this book. So we're talking about Evermore. That's what we're speaking of. That's what we're talking about today.
I have a food rating for one.
Oh, yay!
Oh, yes. All right. So we're going over ratings first. I wish I could find the old stream and see what my food rating was for that. I'd love to know, but I didn't do that.
I don't know if we're doing food ratings.
I don't believe we were doing
that.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember when we started that, and I don't believe we were doing that. Anyway, Addie, please grace us with your food rating.
It's technically a drink, but you know what? I never prepared.
That's fine.
You know what? I'll take it. It's a consumable.
So when you make tea or coffee, and you forget about it for hours. And then it's just this weird tasting. It's not cold, but it tastes different and it tastes weird. There.
Absolutely. You know what? I also will go with bad leftovers as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with it's when you make spaghetti and you're pretty sure it's because, a lot of people are like spaghetti is even better, leftover. It's when you swear it's going to be, but then you heat it up and it makes the apartment smell really weird. And it doesn't taste very good, and you're just
the sauce attaches to the noodles in a very weird way.
And it just it's all congealy, and you're just ugh. It's like that. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's
it's edible, but you'd rather
don't look at it.
I'm gonna go with because that really. And I swear I've used this for other things as well. That really cheap powdery chocolate. that you get for like a kilo of it for like 50 cents, and you're like, it's chocolate, it should be good.
But you like,
But then and it kind of, and like it's not just the flavor, it's the texture. Like you bite into it and it kind of just, it doesn't melt, it crumbles.
Yeah, absolutely.
you have definitely used that. I'm pretty sure you used that in House of Night because I'm getting House of Night flashbacks from you.
You know what though? That's fine.
Yeah. We're gonna
So-
run out of foods one day.
But I just saw, because I just opened up the ebook, there's a aura color chart in this. I never knew
Yes,
that.
there is. Yes, there is. I did not. She doesn't mention aura colors enough for it to be relevant. I'm not gonna lie. I think I only remember 2 times where she was
Yeah,
like, "This
honestly,
person's
we
aura
get a
looks like
puke
this."
Okay,
green.
no, we're gonna
We get
go
a puke
over
green and a
all-
purple.
We're gonna go over all of that because I also accidentally downloaded the ebook, which is good for us. Like that's fine. So real quick, before we even get into characters, I would love to go over some of the world building. I have so much to say about that.
Yes.
Let's have a chat about that. So Emma, I honestly I forgot she was a psychic. I have read this series now 3 times. I forgot she was a psychic because it doesn't matter. Honestly,
Because she's not a psychic, she's an immortal.
no. You can forget that she has powers. It doesn't matter. It means nothing. She doesn't use
The only
them
thing
enough.
that matters is
Or-
that she can see her dead sister. That's it. That's all that
yeah,
matters.
she can see her dead sister, but honestly, any other power she has, you can forget because first of all, it's not consistent enough to matter. Secondly, she doesn't use them in any sort of clever way to solve any
No.
kind of mystery, so it just doesn't matter. She's just a bitch. Like it doesn't matter. But anyway, Ever has psychic powers. She can apparently see auras. She is apparently telepathic, which you wouldn't know by unless you just see like the couple passages where she goes, there are voices.
Or she's like,
that's
and
it.
I knew that someone was going to walk in 3, 2, 1. Boom, they walked in.
Right, but like that could also just be like super hearing, you know what I mean? Like it's not she doesn't get like a whole lot of telepathic stuff. And you know what I think is interesting in books that where they actually explore a character who has telepathy is like you never actually get into like the nitty-gritty things that might actually happen for a character that has telepathy and has friends, because unfortunately for life, if you have a character that actually has telepathy, and they're around people, like people think unflattering things, just like
I'm
just like naturally by accident.
I'm going to do
Like Check just said Teresa's hair is fading. I know, you don't have to say it. Keep it to yourself.
I thought that. I read that message and I was like, it's funny because we just had a whole ass conversation about our hair.
Like you don't have to say it out loud. But see, like, but thank you for proving my point. This is a great example. I might see Addie, and a thought that might cross my mind is like, she hasn't had her hair done in a while. But like, I wouldn't say it.
But you can't because I had it done a few hours ago.
But like,
and
I might
good.
It looks great.
Addie's thinking that about us. She's like, your hair just looks terrible about both of us.
And
she's
I'm like, I can't
really
wait
superior
to go to the hairdresser.
But it doesn't matter enough for her to say anything, right? But like, if that's ever actually explored with a character that has telepathy, because it's mean and and it would make your friend feel bad. But like, she's not actually picking up enough thoughts for that to carbine.
Yeah.
To carbine?
Well, like,
he's with the blinds. You know how like there are those button dogs that like press the button like I want to go outside.
Yeah, so the TikTok
Carbine's
dogs, yeah.
outside button is just fucking with the blinds.
Get him a little bell and train him to bell it.
Honestly, he does that though. He already has blinds. Like he doesn't need anything else.
He doesn't need the bell. He has the
It
blinds.
will just
I know, but the
loud.
bell might be a bit less destructive though.
No.
Well, yeah. I think a good example of telepathy done right was an episode of Buffy in, I think, it's season 2 or season 3. and she gets infected with like the blood of a telepathic demon. And so it starts off minor, like she can just hear fleeting thoughts, and she's like, "This is so cool." But then, and her friends will end up finding out and stuff, like she tells them. But then she starts responding to their thoughts, and they get really weirded out. But then gradually, as the power grows and everything, she ends up just going slowly insane. And but then also
That's
she
how it would
manages
be.
to also stop a suicide in the middle of the school, which is
Nice.
also good.
Yeah,
But
that's good.
So we don't.
One of my favorite quotes of the entire, like in any media, is from that episode. But yeah, it actually explores the ups and downs of that, because like
Telepathy, yeah.
because her friends feel violated that she can hear their thoughts, because she's like it, and you know, except for one character, because one character, Cordelia, everything you hear her think, she then says, and it's like, well, that's refreshing. But yeah, it's violating.
Yeah.
And it's treated as violent. Like,
Well,
it's
yeah,
treated
because
that way.
also, you know, there's a lot of complexity to telepathy, right? Because also not everything you think is something that, like, not the first thought
You
that
feel.
pops into your head is like something that you actually think, like, for real. Like, it's just your first thought, you know? And in your brain, the brain is weird. So
It's no secret that humans have bad thoughts. It's no secret. Everyone has bad thoughts that you're like,
Honestly,
Should've
I
thought
feel really bad for any telepath that crosses my path, because like it's a mess up.
they would
there.
just see me being very angry in my brain about stupid things like traffic, or like they would see me going like Thanos. They would see me thinking about Thanos snapping people who are bad drivers. Like,
yeah, so anyway, so point being, but also then, like, the powers are not all that consistent. So we
no,
hear
they're
her
not.
talking about how she sees a lot of ghosts, but that's kind of a nothing burger.
But she only sees one ghost the entire time.
She's like, I see ghosts, but it doesn't matter because none of them try to talk to me. So it's like, okay, then who gives a shit? So the only ghost that matters is, or what are you doing? Sorry. The only ghost that matters is her dead sister, Riley. So we'll get into characters. So you have Ever, our 16-and-a-half-year-old sidekick, all her entire family, mom, dad, Riley, and Buttercup.
Fucking Buttercup, yo.
I swear, and I think part of it is just the narrator's voice, but I swear, I hate this dog. And it's purely just because, like, my poor sweet lab Buttercup, but the way she says Buttercup, it's just like, oh, I'll be back in 1 sec. Sorry.
Okay, yes, Buttercup is annoying.
Sorry.
So yeah, she used to be a preppy girl. She used to dress in, like mini skirts and cute stuff like that.
Well, she has Elena syndrome in that she's like, my parents and all my family, and they died in a car wreck, and it's my fault.
So now I have to wear hoodies.
So yeah, so she's like, and now I have to
perfect blonde hair.
Actually, your hair looks terrible. Maddie, your hair looks terrible.
Why would you say that?
It just does. Because I'm trying to be mean.
That was really rude.
Just unhelpful.
She's gone now.
I only said that because she said that she had done it.
So not only did you insult her hair, but you called her by your ex-girlfriend's name.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Which is just...
Addie is very similar. Okay? It's very similar.
I am not. No,
Also,
we can stop that.
I don't want to hear it.
So just rude. Rude on all counts.
My
sorry, I was
boyfriend's
telling
best friend
you.
called me by the
You have
wrong name.
you have your socks. You have two
Both
socks.
socks.
Anyway, so in any case, So she has like Elena syndrome, where basically like the reason why we wear what we wear when we crashed is because I wanted a thing, and so that's why my parents are dead. So basically,
and now she
TBD.
just wears baggy clothes and hoodies and has her iPod in and listens to edgy
And she
music. And
lives-
she's
and
not
she-
like other girls.
And just like Elena, she also lives with her aunt. Oh my god, her aunt Sabine.
Who is like too young to be, a guardian of a teenager. There's a lot of TBD syndrome stuff in here.
Well,
we haven't even mentioned
There's
the
also
main
like
love
Twilight
interest.
syndrome in this as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. We'll get to that too. The main love interest, his name is Damon. With an E though,
Yeah.
not an
Yeah, I
O,
didn't like
not an
that.
O, because that would be weird. So we have Damon. He's an immortal. His powers are unclear, honestly.
Very unclear.
He
can summon
drinks.
tulips.
He drinks
Yeah, he can make these
special
benefits.
immortality juice, and
Alchemy juice.
it's
Fucking
red,
tulips,
but not
bro.
blood. So he's Silas. Anyway, so then.
Yes, really.
So then, like,
In her defense, I don't think Silas existed when she wrote this.
no,
So-
for sure.
No,
but I don't
Silas
care.
is here.
Time.
But also, Ever adores him instantly because she can't hear his thoughts. So, like, that's a
She
cute
wants to
little.
bone, and she
that's
wants
a-
to make out, and she wants
That's
to
an
love
adorable
forever.
little gender reversal. Because
Gender.
in
In
Twilight,
Twilight, yeah.
it's Edward who wants to bone Bella only because he can't hear her thoughts. But now she's like, not only is he sexy, but also I can't hear his thoughts, and that's the only reason.
They
like,
also have a whole ass
it's
Twilight
volunteer-
conversation.
They do.
Well,
Where
then they're also
tell me
drawn
what
to
you
each
are.
other through like generations of
Doppelgangers.
reincarnation and shit, and it's like
I was like, it's Catherine. It's fucking. What was her name? What was that? What was the first one? That
Amara.
Silas. Amara. We have Mara, who just fucked everything.
We
up.
had Amara.
Thank
We
you,
had
Mara.
who was the other one?
sorry.
It was Amara. Then it was
Wait.
Tassia, and then it was Catherine, and then it was
Catherine.
Elena. Those are the
Elena.
4 named ones we have.
But we essentially had that where it was like the reincarnation of the just her, because Damon never died.
Yeah, and there's also a bit of Fallen vibes in that as well. So
Well, I
it
haven't read
happens
that,
in-
so
Well, I don't think it's an epic spoiler because we end up being told that this happens. Guy is immortal, girl is not. They fall in love every time they meet, and she dies.
Yeah.
And it's a-
So as
that's a
far
common
as
trope.
Ever's
Yeah.
friend group, we have Miles, because back when this was published, all you had to do was be. Do you remember, you guys, back in the early 2000s when being progressive meant a gay guy?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
it's
like that was the bar, was just a very flamboyant gay guy, and that was his personality, was I'm gay, and that was it. And we were like, how progressive.
I'm not gonna lie, like Miles is literally Damien without a vocab obsession.
Right?
Yes.
Except he kind
At
of
least
does
he doesn't.
he has like a factoid obsession though. Like,
Yes, but like I can remember the first time I read
He's
this
less
book, so I'm pretty
offensive
sure I
than
read half of that
Damien, too.
first. I know, but he's like in my head, like when I started to re-listen to it, like I started to get some flashes, and I'm like, and I'm guessing because I couldn't remember like Damon's name, and I'm just like, is the gay guy's name Damien as well? And I was convinced it wasn't until
No.
I said Miles, and I'm like, well, why the fuck was I thinking Damien? And then Damon rocks up. I'm like, well, that makes sense.
well, yeah.
We had to have
So,
something that reminded us of House of Night, you know.
well, I mean, yeah, because this is an early 2000s YA novel without an overly flamboyant gay best friend. No, it is not. Yes.
Can I talk about Haven?
Yes, you can.
Oh, let's talk about Haven.
She's the biggest bitch I've ever read in my life. I
Haven's a
hate
piece of
her.
shit. I hate her.
I hate her so much. She's one of those
Do you hate
people.
her now?
Am I gonna hate her even more?
Right.
I honestly
Or
didn't
less.
remember her. So like,
No,
you might
never.
hate it more, you might hate it less. I'm just
No,
gonna say
I will
your
never hate
feelings
her
will
less.
either increase or decrease.
Okay, well,
I don't
she's
remember
super
what
goth.
Faye, can you please remind me of what she does? Because I do not
Do,
remember.
do I need to turn off my
No,
sound?
Faye, just text me. Just text me, Faye.
Okay.
It's fine.
So she is what she likes to be called is the future Mrs. Marilyn Manson, which is a reference that did not age well. Did not. We talked about that in the group chat. It was very funny. Which is not the author's fault. You never know. Yeah, never know, and people are gonna get canceled. So that's fine. It's early 2000s, whatever.
All right,
But
this
it's
is
not a
going to
good
be a
look.
very off-color joke, but real quick on the Mrs. Marilyn Manson part,
Yeah.
though, when you really think about it, he probably would have gone for it at the time anyway.
But she's
I'm just
like
saying,
super goth.
she would have had a shot. Oh,
And
do you remember though? Sorry, this is
Yeah.
this is also going to be really off-color, and I apologize. Do you remember last time we went to a Bring Me the Horizon concert, and we figured out how old Ollie's new wife was? And I think it was like she was younger than us. And we were like, you're telling me that at 14 we would have had a shot? Because we thought he was hot at like 14. He was like 30 at the time or some shit like that. I don't remember how old he is.
it's fine.
And we were like, wait, it was okay to like him when we were 14.
We had a shot. We had a shot. Once we hit 18, we would have had a shot.
It was
Well,
so stupid.
oh no, he's
Anyway, not the point. Unhealthy. Sorry, I'm not.
Well, the
okay,
thing-
by the way,
the
I'm
thing
not
as well
condoning
was,
any of this. I'm looking back on my emo years with rose-colored glass.
yes, same.
Yeah, well, this is also because there's also a Hilary Duff reference at the beginning of this book. But
Oh yeah, there's
when
Hilary
Hilary
Duff.
Duff was dating Joel Lennon, she was 16 and he was 25 when they started dating.
What? No way.
But they didn't go like public with their dating until she was of legal fuck age.
I did
It's
not
fine.
know that.
Anyways, so
You didn't know
Haven,
that they dated?
No, I didn't know that, like how young. Because in my head at the time, Hilary Duff was just
Yeah, she
18
dated him for 3
at all
years from
times.
16 to 19.
no. In my head, Hilary Duff has been 18 for like 100 years. Like
Yeah, same.
because I was a kid.
Same thing
Yeah,
with like
they-
Jesse McCartney was always like 18. in my
Yeah,
head.
Jesse McCartney has been 18 since I was 6. Like that's.
He was my first crush.
He was also my first, like, well, other than
I think
like,
we
Liam
bonded
Neeson.
over this.
Yeah, we have. Anyway,
Oh, that's right. Yes, Liam Neeson was your first.
Liam Neeson
What?
and Jesse McCartney, two wildly different people.
Well, you just unlocked a memory. What did we name? What game did we name someone Liam Neeson? I remember now. You don't need to answer the
Never
question.
mind. Don't worry
It was
about
a childhood. Yeah.
I'm feeling
Anyway.
excluded from this conversation.
It was
You-
a game. It was
I'm
a
sorry
game.
that I don't have history.
It was a game where the prompt was
Name this
like,
person
this
after
is-
your childhood crush.
yeah, name this person after your childhood crush. And
She just named him Liam Neeson.
and so I named him Liam Neeson, and that was his first name. And so like I just went through this whole game with him being Liam Neeson. And then and then I was already dating Noah at the time. And so the other thing was like, it was already filled in Noah, and so his name was just Noah apparently. And
Noah, apparently, yeah. And we would text each other saying, like, so Noah apparently, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, so Haven sees Damon and is like, I call dibs, and is a major bitch about it for, like, the rest of the book until she's not. And then she becomes a Drina clone. It's a whole thing. She's just weird. I don't like her.
It's
She's dramatic.
really weird. Like, where is... Like, Haven's literally... Like, 'cause Haven and Ever are talking about it. She's like, did you see the new guy? He's so hot, dibs. And then Miles rocks up and he's like, I'm gay. And I want new guy. And she's like, I call dibs. And, like, she gets really cranky.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just that, like...
Yeah.
Anyone mentions he's hot near Haven, and she's like, I call dibs, and she like gremlins out, and I don't get it.
I just don't like her. Just don't like her.
And then she's freaking out because like Ever was sitting next to her in English, and Haven's like, did you have your hood up or down? Like she was gonna shank her if her hood was down.
Right?
I know, right?
She was like, I don't need the competition because you're blonde and pretty. And it's like, whoa, bitch, calm down.
But there's also
wanna
like
be
no
blonde so much
indication
to
that
dye your
Haven is
hair.
ugly. Like,
No.
But she's weird. Like you know exactly what she looks like though, because like just picture early noughties emo kid, and you got Haven.
She's goth.
you know
actually.
what?
She's
I
goth.
don't
Oh.
need to. Okay.
Bullshit.
Like,
Because we
I
were them.
I don't need this sort of attitude from you.
She showed up to like 7th grade or something with fire engine red hair, and the day that she did, she got written up as a dress code
I did not.
violation.
Okay, it wasn't. It was one streak of it. Okay, and I got in so
It was
much
one streak
trouble.
of fire engine red, but you did get a dress code violation for it.
It was 8th grade, but yeah, I got in so much trouble.
Was it 8th grade? Because I thought, is that when we
No.
had Cook?
I think it was Dr. Cook who got me in trouble for it. I don't remember what grade it was. It was 7th or 8th grade, but yeah, I got in so much
I think it was
trouble.
7th because I think that's when we had Dr. Cook.
Yeah. Sorry. Anywho.
Anyways, unlocking memories left and right up here. Anyway, so I think that's really it. Like, Sabine's our aunt. Doreena's a bitch. She's apparently our villain. We'll get into her when we get there. I think we can get started on the quote-unquote plot, which is really a nothing burger. I could summarize the entire plot for you in a sentence.
Okay, I have notes though. So
I do too.
all right, so Haven is here and we're in present tense. Ever is a sidekick. Hillary Duff slander. Ever is listening to Sophane's Pomeranian barking because she's not like other girls. What I mean by that is she's listening to the Sex Pistols and she's like, oh my God, Sid Vicious, so amazing. And I just honestly, literally the only thing that popped into my head was Sid Vicious, Sophane's Pomeranian, just yapping into her iPod.
I mean, I will say, in Ever's defense, she never said she liked the Sex Pistols. It was just that was the only thing loud enough.
Yeah, but she's not like other girls.
Well, she
I
does
know
admit
she's
later
not.
that she doesn't like any of that music. She just listens to it because of Haven.
So, and yeah, I said, honestly, I forgot she was sidekick, which should tell you something about how important that info actually is.
And the chapter 1 ends with like, I wasn't always a freak, but now I listen to punk music and I'm not like other girls because my family died.
Yeah, we get her
And
sad
I had a
backstory,
near death.
which
I
we
had
already
a near
gave you.
death experience.
Yeah, and we get her sad backstory. We find out that she actually died and like she didn't cross over with her family. Also, she doesn't tell you why it's her fault until like the end of the book. But I already told you it's because she just wanted a sweatshirt, and so her dad turned the car around, and then the car crashed. Like, and so she's like, "That's my fault."
And also, she sees that she shows us that some guy was like, "Ever, is that your name?" And just keep that in mind because if anyone can't figure out who that guy was,
Yeah,
you should.
And also, what actually happened was because Dad, I don't think Dad had turned around yet. He just turned his head to be like, "Yes, sweetie." So like, Dad turned his head to the back of the car while driving, and then he turns back around and there's a deer in the middle of the road. Okay, like I'm sorry, like I don't care if like because we find out later Drina like pushed the deer onto the road or something. I don't know how she got the deer into the fucking road, but she got the deer there.
Also, I will
She
say
herded a deer into the road. It's still Dad's fault. Like
as
he
someone
turned
who
around.
lives in high deer country, you don't
Yeah,
need
right.
someone to put a deer on the road for you. And
The deer are gonna do it themselves.
BT dubs, if you don't live in high deer country and you're wondering how do I avoid deer at dusk, it's dusk time. So it's not really like dark time that it happens. It's when it's twilight.
Just dark enough that you can't see.
Well, I will
your
say
eyes.
that
It's when it's like
kangaroos,
twilight. Yeah.
and
It's
it's
when
the
it's
same
like
thing, dawn and dusk.
dawn and dusk. So it's when it's sort of dark or sort of light. That's when they do it. That's when they love to just be standing out in the middle of the road. So it's not when it's super dark out. It's not when it's like
between,
bright out.
Because it's
between
super dark,
first
you can
light
see
and
their
sunrise
eyes.
and sunset and last light.
Yeah, that's when
it.
they're like super active, and that's when they're like, I'm gonna go get hit by a car. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a park right when it's closing because they close at sundown, all of a sudden deer just everywhere, and you're like, where the fuck did you guys come from? That's what happens.
It's when the deer decide they want to total cars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I've
if
almost
you're
hit
driving
a deer
through
and
deer or kangaroo country,
It's
just
terrifying,
pull over
yeah.
for half an hour.
Yeah, no, and genuinely, it is actually terrifying because I almost hit a deer.
Your
and
car will get totaled if you hit
well,
a deer going
but the
even at
best, so the
45.
best thing you can do, obviously,
the
other than
kangaroo.
is
It's the
do not
same.
swerve. Don't swerve because you're probably on a back windy road. Just hit your brakes really hard and just keep
Yeah,
it straight.
same.
Hit the deer. Hit your brakes really hard and just keep it straight, like because you're gonna go into a ditch.
Unless you're
and you're gonna
unless
roll
you're
a
driving
million
a
times.
semi and then you just go.
Yeah,
If you're
Then-
driving a semi, just keep trucking.
but just hold it
But if you're
straight.
driving a normal car, then
Yeah, just stay
Yeah.
on the road, hit your
you
brakes as hard
slow
as you
down
can
as much
so,
as possible.
so you
yeah.
can slow down as much as possible and just hit the fucking deer because it'll live.
But
It
be
doesn't give a
cautious if
shit.
it's wet. But be cautious if it's wet because then
Yes.
aquaplaning.
Yeah. Also,
shit.
yeah. If it's wet, just coast into the damn thing.
Just total your car, pray your airbags work, and wear your
Yeah,
seatbelt.
pump
And
the brakes
also-
if it's wet.
Yeah. And also relax.
Yes, that is the biggest thing. Relax because you'll be less injured. I know a girl who literally totaled her car into a ditch, but because she was asleep, she had no injuries. She did not have a concussion. She did not break anything, even though that accident should have killed her. She was asleep, so she lived.
Yeah. So relax, which is
So fall
like
asleep at the wheel before you hit the deer.
yeah.
Yes, fall asleep.
Yeah, but that's also yeah. So if it's raining, coast into it. Just really just coast into it and relax. Like loose grip, brake if it's not raining. But if it is
I
raining,
mean,
all
all of
But
this
also,
is being said,
this is
understanding
not-
that flight or fight instinct is not going to listen to your logic brain.
but do your
That's
best. Do your best to
best.
relax.
That's all we ask.
Like if you can relax. Because you will. That's why
Anyway.
drunk people live.
Yeah,
and
because they're
you
relaxed.
don't when you get hit by a drunk driver. Anyway,
Anyways,
moving
guys
on.
in class, we
So,
can't see
yeah.
his aura, and it's Damon.
So Damon's, we actually don't really get a great description of him, like physically, other than, oh my God, I need this water because he is.
Okay, I know that he's got dark hair because when she looks after the surfers and they're both blonde, she's like, well, neither of them are him.
Yeah,
He's-
I'm guessing he's Mediterranean in appearance.
well,
Okay,
he's Italian, isn't he?
but the most important thing we
I
have
thought
to
he was
keep
Spanish.
in mind, guys,
His original last name was
Yes.
Esposito.
is that he is
He's
so hot.
dude. The
like-
description of him made me want to throw up.
He is so unbelievably hot. Like, just you won't like. I can't even describe it to you, and I'm not going to, because she's not
Just
going to
know that
describe
he's
it to us.
hot.
But you should just
Oh,
know.
yeah, no. Okay, so he's handsome with olive skin and dark hair and brown
Yeah,
hair.
okay.
That is on the official evermore.fandom.com wiki.
But you
His
should
appearance is
know.
handsome with olive skin and brown hair, and there is a
Okay,
picture.
cool.
But you should know.
There's a picture.
Can
Yeah,
you send,
I
can
think
you
it's
link
just
that,
some.
please?
I'll just share.
Okay.
Thank you.
Share
You should
screen.
just know though that he is like his. She won't shut up about it.
No,
He's so hot.
no one will shut up about it. He's the sexiest beast.
Like, make sure you drink water because you might get dehydrated because of how hot he is. Just in case. I'm just concerned about everybody. Who's ever read this book.
Yeah, so everyone, keep a water handy because it's
That's
loading.
the picture.
Oh,
Honestly,
he's not-
underwhelming.
not very-
Yes,
not very
underwhelming.
underwhelmed.
I'm not saying
Oh.
that person's not attractive, but what I am saying is that I don't feel the need to guzzle water right now.
I don't see an entire school worth of females being like dibs, 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 ready to
No.
throw down with everyone.
So before we continue,
Oh,
real quick.
he's from Florence, Italy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Salvatores. Anywho, so real quick, before we continue, I want to go over the drinking game that I found on Goodreads.
Oh, yeah.
Just real quick, whenever you roll your eyes, drink. Whenever you feel like taking a hammer to Evermore, take a swig. Whenever ever is a complete and total idiot, drink.
You'd be
Whenever
dead.
someone uses a
That's
positive,
what I said. By chapter 3, you'll be in a coma.
absolutely. Whenever someone uses a positive adjective when describing Damon, preferably sexy, gorgeous, hot, smoking, or even combustible, drink. Whenever
Oh my
someone
god.
says,
yeah.
"Oh my god," take a drink.
Oh my god. Yes.
Oh my
It's
god, you're in
spelled
trouble.
OHMI God.
Whenever Ever presses her lips, take a drink. Good luck with that one, my friend. Whenever another talent Damon has is revealed, take a swig.
Yes.
But Damon will probably swig better than you. Whenever you find out something before Ever does, take a swig. Whenever Ever throws herself a pity party, take a swig. You know,
All the
her
time.
family used to like parties. Whenever Ever dreams of Damon, take a swig. Whenever Damon and Ever declare their undying love for each other, take a swig. Whenever Riley is annoying, take a swig. Whenever a
We actually like
Twilight,
Riley.
I liked Riley too. Whenever you find a Twilight ripoff / reference, take a swig.
Let's add Vampire Diaries to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever you feel the urge to run to the nearest window because you're reading Evermore, take a drink. When or if you finish Evermore, take a drink because you, my friend, have conquered this monstrosity. And I enjoy that.
I'll take it for all three of us. Cheers,
Yeah,
friends.
but also like that's a great way to commit suicide because you would die. In any case,
Yeah.
so Damon is here and he's hot and she can't read his aura.
That's really it.
And Miles is like,
and
Miles is
Haven
like,
calls dibs.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. The review underneath that, do not read, because it's got like series endgame spoiler that I forgot about until I just read it.
Well, don't tell me that, because now I want to go find it.
If you see a review and it's got a rarity gif, don't read it.
Okay.
so we go see Miles and he's like, I'm gay and I want to fuck Damon. And
who doesn't want to fuck Damon?
And so Damon is parked next to Ever and he has no aura. And so his name is Bella is what I said. And then Miles...
And we finally look at him.
Yes, because she hasn't seen him yet.
Yes, she hasn't looked at him yet.
He's
She has like a
motorcycle
stroke.
boots.
And so then she looks at him and then she just freezes. And Miles is like, oh my God, you think he's hot? How dare you? Like, Haven's gonna kill you. And
Haven's
she's
gonna
like,
kill
dibs.
and that's it. And then we go home and Ever's rich. And that's that.
And then we
she talks
figure
to her dead
out-
sister.
No, we figure out that she does talk to her dead sister, but Riley's not actually there at this point. She's just like, yeah, I'd like to talk to my dead sister. Moving on.
So I said we're back at school. And then
Yes, we're back at school.
She's
Haven-
talking to
Yes, that's
Haven.
right. We haven't talked about the scene transitions.
Oh yeah, they
They're
don't
pretty
exist.
bad.
They don't
They're pretty
exist.
They don't.
There is no
Like,
scene
you're-
transitions.
Like she's walking into school and then suddenly it's after school and you don't know how you got there.
Yeah.
And then it's a month later.
I'll try
and you
to see
still
if I
don't
can
know
find an
how it
example.
happens.
Well, you search. So Ever gave Damon a copy of Wuthering Heights because that's their English book that they're reading right now. And Haven freaks out because she's like, "You're a whore. He's mine. You gave him a book."
Yeah,
And so
she gets very cranky.
then Ever's like, "I don't like him. I'm not interested in him. I don't care if you think he's the sexiest man on earth. I don't like him." And then Damon's standing right behind her because of course he is. It's a romance novel.
So like it's really quick. So she's like, well, all except for Mr. Robbins, who wants class to end almost as much as me. By lunch, everyone's talking about Damon. Like that's the only thing you get. You know, it's
And it
just
gets worse than that sometimes.
it's like
There's
very
one where
rapid
it's
fire.
Really, like
There's one that's really jarring.
It's the one I'm thinking of, and I can't even remember what they were talking about. Otherwise, I will try and find it. But
I might have written it down in
It's
my
at the
notes.
beginning of English, and I think he's asking her about her dead parents or something like that. I don't know.
Yes.
But he asked her a
Yes.
question, and then he repeats the question. But now we're at lunch.
Yes.
Yeah, and
It's just
And
they
I'll-
don't
From the
exist.
beginning of I don't
another thing about this book
know what was
is
said.
that like we don't ever stay in a scene long enough to see
Really
any of these
establish it, yeah.
conversations in any kind of detail. So like excuse me for that. You knew this was gonna happen. The Mercy books. sometimes the conversations can go on a little too long, but we at least stay in the scenes long enough to see them, right? Like,
And to establish the scene well.
and to establish the scene well and to see the conversation and all that kind of stuff. But in this book, like, sometimes it'll be like he asks a thing and then she'll just tell us she'll tell us that they had a conversation. And it's like, yeah, but on screen, you guys haven't even spoken, and you're like, I have a boyfriend, and I'm like, that wasn't established.
Right?
Like
they
you
go
guys
to
have,
Disneyland once, and she's like,
I'm
I
like,
have
y'all
a
have,
boyfriend.
yeah, I'm like, y'all have like existed in the same school, and you've just decided that you have a boyfriend, and I'm so confused.
Han Solo.
I have a
I
question.
saw Holo.
Does going to Disneyland once with someone mean that you're dating?
Or does it not mean you're married?
Wait. And he buys her.
What?
And he buys her a sweater.
He buys her a sweater.
The fuck?
A pink Mickey.
No.
A pink
They have
Mickey
never
Mouse
had
sweater.
sex in all of her
I'm gonna go ahead and
reincarnations.
say no.
What were you guys saying?
Wait, where do you live?
Yeah, in 600 years of her being
we
reincarnated, they
Disneyland
haven't
in
gone.
California.
Oh no, they live right next to
No,
it.
it's like almost fucking like a crow.
Yeah, they did
Also
spoil a drive to
something-
Disney.
Something
He said that's
important
like
to
going to
note.
Kroger, is what he said.
Yeah, right? Something important to note is that in any of her reincarnations, Damon and her have not consummated their
yeah,
relationship.
that's
So
right.
she is like an eternal virgin.
Yeah, she's been a virgin for like 600 years.
Because of course
So she
has.
keeps reincarnating, but like, yeah, so when all,
Every time.
yeah, because she dies
Oh.
before she can do the badoink-a-doink. Why?
I'm pretty sure.
What is
As
with
well,
this
I'm
violent
pretty
behavior?
sure there is a character that gets introduced in the next book or the book after, whose name is Jude. From memory, there is a Jude in the series.
Wait, what is it?
I'm fairly certain there's a male character in this series called Jude.
Oh.
Did you see my text, Mara, when I was staying at the Airbnb and they had cool prints on their shelf?
Yes, I saw
And I
that.
was like, no.
Jude.
Dude.
Was that the book it was in? Because I should have
I
looked
think
at
it
that book
was.
and like
It
earmarked the Jude page and just
You
written
have to go back to
no.
the Airbnb now.
I don't.
You just have to go back.
I can't. It's so far away.
All right. So
Okay.
anywho, so we're back at school, and she's like, "How freaking dare you give him a book?" Also, like, by the way, this is a book he has, so this is like, honestly, he didn't need to borrow her book. Anywho, so she's like, "How dare you?" Haven is like, "How dare you let him borrow your book?" And Ever's like, "I don't even like him." And they're like, and
He
Miles
just
and
kinda got
Haven are
mad.
like, "You can stop now." So obviously he's behind her,
Yep.
And he's like, "Hello, Emma."
and
Like,
he's
it's
like,
so creepy. He's like holding the door open for her, and he's like, "Hello,
and he's like,
shall I escort you to our desk?"
yeah, he's like, oh. and then he touches her, and his touch is electric.
Of
And,
course it is.
and then we hear,
Alright.
and then she's sitting there, and she puts in her headphones, and she goes over her playlist, which is like The Cure, you know, Susie and the Banshees, stuff like that. And by the way, if a girl is ever like, I like 80s goth run, by the way, because that, honest, like, I'm not kidding. That playlist just gave me PTSD, not for myself, but for someone I know. That was,
I know exactly who you're talking about.
no, genuine PTSD from that playlist. I was like, wow, I knew that there was an issue with you ever. I cannot even with that playlist. I don't care who it's from, but the fact that you have that, all of that in that order, I'm gonna vomit. Anywho, so
Is it who I'm thinking of, TJ?
it is. You know exactly who it is.
Okay.
So then we go to dinner. Oh, then Miles is like, oh, then Damon sits with us, and then they're like, he's coming over and it's going to be great. And then he's not coming over. It doesn't matter. And then,
It literally doesn't. Not
and
a
then
lot matters.
Miles is like, why no want Damon to come over? And she's like, nah. And then Damon cancels, and then she yells at her dead sister, and then she goes to dinner with her aunt, and then she's like, oh,
And then
it's
she
so,
runs into Damon.
And then
Yeah.
she says about hold on real quick. I wrote this down because it freaked me out. And then she says, "Oh, the restaurant we're going to is so shishi," which I looked that up in Urban
shishi.
Dictionary. And
How do
then
you spell shishi, by the way?
it's shish, like SHI. Urban Dictionary says that this either means it's very chic or something about urination. So I'm going with urination.
Where'd you put it?
Because I can only
shishi is like Chinese for urine.
Well,
I'm assuming that this author clearly meant urination. So that's what I'm going for. The other entry says that it's like early 2000s slang for chic, but that's obviously not what she meant. So anyway,
definitely not.
So Damon
Why
is
would
here
it be?
Damon is here because
Wait,
of course he is.
Because it's
Could
a
be
fucking
Japanese.
YA novel.
And he's here with this aura-less redhead, which honestly, Ever is not as alarmed by that as she should be, because she sees auras around everyone. Not that you would know it because you're reading this poorly written book.
I don't want to know everyone's aura every second of every scene.
But also it should be something that's at least mentioned
More
than twice.
Wait, let's see how many times aura is
But
mentioned.
here's the thing: if I was someone who saw auras all the time, and I met some guy who, like, you know, I had to mop up puddles everywhere I went because of how hot he was, and he didn't have an aura. And then
No, stop listening to our conversations.
And then I go to a restaurant, and he's with this banging redhead, and
who's also auraless.
And then she doesn't have it. I would be like weirded out, you know, like it would alarm me. It would stick out in my brain a little bit. But Ever's just like, I don't care. Damon's hot. Like,
but she didn't even realize until she'd been home for like 4 hours that she didn't have an aura. 5?
Yes. Oh, 5
no, wait,
hours.
I'm not.
Oh, hand up. Okay, yes.
Oh, yes. Hello.
You know something cringy that we haven't mentioned yet?
How can I help you?
The tulips.
Oh, yes, the tulips. Oh, yes. So, by the way, Damon is just flouncing around every time he sees Ever.
Tulips.
There are just red tulips everywhere.
He like pulls them out from behind her ears.
I'm offended because I just planted tulips, by the way. Well,
it's personally offensive to me too. Like, that's like a symbol for my books, and I'm so upset. Like, not red ones, but purple ones, and I'm mad. I'm like, now I have to go back and I have to delete everything I've ever written.
You have to retcon now.
I have to retcon everything. It's ruined.
Yes, the most known meaning of tulips is perfect and deep love, and I don't know why that would be the symbol of a tulip, considering like they only bloom for like a month if you're lucky, and then they die. Like I don't know why perfect and deep love is like a month-long flower.
And you have to put a lot of work into it. I don't know.
And he says he's bad at taking care of love. He's bad at love. That's the one thing he's bad at.
No, he always
is at love and goodbye.
Which is such a bad boy thing to say. I'm bad at love, Ever.
Like, he's good at everything. He apparently taught Pablo Picasso how to paint.
Oh my God, I was so offended by that.
Which offends me for different reasons than it offends you, but in the same way. It's the core of the thing.
It's heavily implied. I don't know if he actually outright states it.
No, he does.
He does.
He's like, does
he outright states it.
Okay.
So what I said was like, this author wants me to believe that this like freaking
616-year-old boy,
that this little 16-year-old boy like taught Pablo Picasso, who was painting pieces about, you know, the Nazis, to paint. Get out. Like, here, I don't even like Pablo Picasso's work that like aesthetically.
I don't either.
like that much. But
it's
also
not my thing.
get out. But just
Yeah,
get
but
out.
also because he's such
what
an
was the thing
important
that
art
he was
historical
painting?
figure.
Yeah, he's a very important historical artist. So get out. Get out.
I don't know what
What-
painting he
what
was
was-
painting by him.
Oh, yeah, like what was
I
he
don't remember.
recreating?
I know that she was doing a really
Pink,
shitty job at Starry Night, which is not difficult to do a
woman,
shitty job at
woman
because
with
it's a
yellow
very
hair.
difficult painting.
Okay. Woman with yellow.
I think it was woman with
hair.
yellow hair or something like
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh God. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like my 5-year-old could recreate that without much.
Oh my gosh, that she had a conniption fit about that one.
Again.
Paint so good. I haven't touched paint in probably 4 years. I could do that.
Yeah, same. Like
I mean,
again,
yes, I have a degree in it, but like still.
again, I'm not even good at painting. Like,
Oh, that's a lie.
Shut up.
but
She's like, I'm
I've
attacked.
seen the
Okay,
painting.
moving on.
I've seen the paintings you did of. I've seen paintings you've done. Shut up.
Yeah.
and
I-
anyway, but again, I don't like Picasso aesthetically, which is fine.
me neither.
But historically, he's a very important figure for that period of art history, and so I'm just offended that she's like this.
Right.
This little vampire wannabe taught Pablo Picasso to paint. I'm like, shut up.
No,
It's
he
so
didn't.
Anyways,
Shut the fuck up.
um,
I cannot. I'm so offended.
suddenly it's the next day at school, and Damon's just like, I'm emancipated for some reason. He just announces that.
Yeah, he announces that he's emancipated.
It's fine. Then they're at lunch, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry about your dead parents. And then he touches her hand, and Haven's like,
Excuse you.
yeah, like she just throws a conniption fit. And then, oh my gosh.
Look, I mean, and look,
I hate
I
her so
understand as well.
much.
Like, I mean, to be fair, if you know that your best friend has an epic crush on someone, yes, no, you should not pursue that person.
Yeah.
However, at this point, Haven has said literally hi to him. She's known him a day.
I'll also go on a limb and say that in defense of Ever also isn't doing anything. Ever's just sitting there, and Damon's just like, hello. Damon's just like, I'm just gonna throw tulips at you violently and pet you. Like, that's just what he's doing.
That's kind of their relationship, I'm not gonna lie. He's always the one all over her. He's the one who's like macking all over on her side of her face and stuff, and she's just like, I have a hot voice.
I mean, if he'd been the guy that Haven had been like in love with since she was like 7 years old, and then Ever comes in, all that stuff. I mean, I still think it's a little bit silly, but I can at least respect the position. What did you just do?
Autumn just banged the Evermore shit out of his head on the coffee table. Oh.
Kirby, you okay over there? Yeah, I could respect that as well. But it's like he just
she'd seen him from afar, and that's it.
And she called dibs. And the other thing, and like I said,
aggressively,
aggressively called dibs. But again, in defense of Ever, she hasn't done anything.
Like, Haven was literally about ready to shave Ever's, like sneak into Ever's room in the middle of the night and shave her head.
Right.
Because Ever sat next to him. Oh, well, no. He got assigned to sit next to her.
Right.
And she didn't even look at him. But if her hood had been down, you know that Haven.
Yeah, no, she would have been like, all right, I guess
now you die.
Yeah, she's like, all right, I guess it's time for cyanide. And it's like, Haven, calm down. So then we find out that Haven is into like a vampire club. She's like, I'm going to knock.
This is when I decided I hated her so much.
She's an addiction addict.
She's an anonymous group addict. She's addicted to going to anonymous groups for diseases or for like disorders or like things, you know, like anywhere from like grief support groups, over shopping, shoplifting, stuff like that.
Drug,
She's addicted to
alcohol,
going to those
bin-
groups,
eating
even though
disorders.
she doesn't have any of the disorders.
Yeah, like
I
she was
hate her.
going to like an overeating.
Yeah, that
Support
night,
group.
and then she was going to like an overdependency support group, which is how she met Evangeline, which is maybe a person. She's really not even a person. She's like in
not
two
really a
scenes, and then
Yeah,
she
are we
goes
supposed
missing.
to care? Are we supposed to care about
I
Evangeline?
think so.
I don't think so.
I believe. I don't know. It's
Really?
not that. It's not like Ever cares.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like, I don't know. I don't know.
But she goes to an actual club that's a vampire club.
Yeah, she goes to a
as
vampire
well.
club.
Nocturne.
called
Yeah, and
Nocturne.
Damon's like, I know what that is. That's cool.
Well,
Yeah.
it's more like I know what that is, and he looks like he's about to have an anxiety attack.
Oh, and then Miles is like, "Oh, I got catfished by a guy using Damon's photos," and Damon's like, "Oh yeah, I used to model," and then that never comes up ever again.
Well, the point of that is basically that
I know,
like,
to show that he hasn't aged.
that he hasn't aged.
Ever. But there were better ways to do that
Well, yeah,
than
but
just
Yeah.
a
Also,
one line Miles got
question.
catfish.
because I don't know if I just missed it because I wasn't paying attention in that scene, or if I forgot, or if it just wasn't clear because of like how loopy and pointless half of this book was. What was the significance of Drina getting Miles apart in Hairspray?
Nothing.
well, it
Like,
was
did
so.
that
It was,
did that
was so-
isolate her?
yeah,
or
it was so
something?
like he would have less time. to
Oh,
spend
he would
with
have
her.
less time with Ever. Yeah. Okay.
But
Whatever.
But they barely spend time together anyway, so it wasn't clear. She drives him to school, and she still does that.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you know what? That's a good point.
We don't have answers for you.
Honestly, I don't know how this book got published.
Like, I mean, I don't know how that's part of an evil plot. Like, oh, I got you, gay BF.
I got her
part in
friend a part in the
Hairspray.
play. Yeah.
You know, and people get really worried about like the quality of self-published books, which like is fair, but also this had like this is supposed to have quality control.
Who
It's someone published this. I don't understand it.
Who did this to us?
Then we have
Oh,
the
who did
Pablo
do it?
Picasso conversation.
Ugh.
And then we're hanging out with our dead sister, getting ready for school.
It's not in the
And
the
Damon-
ebook. Who published this?
Hold on.
Sorry.
I'll find it.
Damon is not paying attention to her. He's paying attention to whatever what is her name? It's
Oh,
something weird.
Stasia.
Stasia. And pulling white roses out of her ear. And the fact that who published it?
Okay.
Who published it?
No, I'm reading the
It's
acknowledgements,
Macmillan.
right?
It's Macmillan who published it.
Okay. But she has a shush. Sorry. So to thank for this monstrosity, besides Alice and Noel, we also have Brian L. Weiss, MD, and Christina Geikis, who showed me a past I never could have imagined. James Van Praagh, who told me to look at the world in a whole new way. My agent, Kate Schaefer, that name sounds familiar.
It does sound familiar.
Well, I'm going to have to look at what else she's responsible for. Who so deftly guides me along. My editor, Rose Hilliard, who handles my stories with such care. My copy editor for several books now, Nana V. Stozel, who spares
Is that
me
a
from
copy
all manner
editor?
of grammatical embarrassment.
Okay.
And as always, Sandy, the last of the Renaissance men. So we've got Nana V. Stozel, Rose Hilliard, and Kate Schaefer. And Macmillan Publishing to thank for this monstrosity.
Also, Macmillan Audio is who does, I believe, the Mercy books.
Macmillan does a lot of books.
If I'm
They do
not
a lot of-
mistaken. No, it's Penguin. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Penguin does a lot of YA, like big name YA books.
I know
they did,
Macmillan does a lot of people though. Like Macmillan is one of like the big ones. So
Mhm.
that's not a small publishing company either.
No. Anyways, Damon's being a bitch. That's what's happening
Yeah,
now.
any hoozles. He's
And then it's
tossing
Halloween.
around white roses.
Yeah, and then it's Halloween, and she's throwing a party, and she's going as a movie rendition of Marie Antoinette, and Haven's like, "Did you invite Damon?" And she's like, "No, of course I didn't invite Damon." But then naturally, Damon shows up as her
And
love
so then-
interest from that movie.
And then so also though the author expects me to believe that Haven knows anything about vague historical figures, like, and I don't believe her. I don't,
Yeah, because Haven's like absolutely pissed because she's like, "Y'all are getting a couple's costume."
but I don't believe that Haven would know that.
No.
Like I believe that like if they were going as ketchup and mustard, that Haven would have gotten the reference, but not that. Like,
and then a psychic named Ava shows up. She's like a background character the rest of the book, and Ava can see Riley, so she's like a legit psychic. And then her and Damon make out, and Haven walks out at the exact moment that they're making out, and Haven's like, I'm leaving. Because Drina's there, which Drina's her new friend, and Damon is like, I know Drina. And so then Damon leaves as well, and so we go talk to the psychic, and she's like, your sister needs to move on and go across the rainbow bridge into the afterlife. And she's like, no, bitch, I'm not going to do that. And then... and then Miles is
she gets really offended. She gets overly offended by Ava.
The
it's
suggestion,
ridiculous.
by Ava. And then Miles is like, bitch, Haven told me you made out with Damon, give me the deets. And she's like,
he's like, what are the deets? And she's like, how dare you ask for the deets? He just ran away.
Yeah. And then he's not in class until he barges in with the bitch from before, with the white rose bitch. And now we see Haven later, and she's dressing like Drina. Oh, and she's like I'm sorry, I'm over Damon now.
She's wearing like colored contacts, like to look like, it's like all sorts of shit. Also, I don't know if just Haven starts to get a tattoo on her wrist, and it kind of moves. It's weird. Anyway,
and it becomes infected. I don't know. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
They don't hang on anything long enough. Honestly, she hangs on like everything this exact same amount of time, so you have no idea what matters.
From memory, the Ouroboros ends up actually having a point. Like it's an actual relevant symbol from memory.
What a novel idea.
Okay, well then we'll just keep that in the back of our head.
Speaking of, I mean, I could be wrong. I could just remember this tattoo thing. I don't know. But
these books are bad.
Sorry, I can't remember when this happened. But there is one thing I hate in books or in movies or whatever. It's like, this isn't a book. This is real life. And he's like, this isn't a fantasy. This is real life. They're like, that's in this. I'm like, this isn't fantasy. It's real life, ever. I'm just like.
Anyways.
I also despise that. I hate it when it happens when it's like, I don't sparkle like in your vampire books. I'm like, yeah, but you're in my vampire books. Be quiet. Like, you know that.
Yeah, Damon does that this entire time where he's like, vampires are fake. They're not how they are in your movies and your books and stuff. And I'm like, you're literally a vampire. Can you just go away? Like tell me how he's different than a vampire, please.
He
give me a
doesn't drink
PowerPoint
blood.
presentation. Yeah, but he drinks something suspiciously similar to blood.
Yes,
it could be argued.
Congratulations. Like, honestly, it could have been more fun if he just like bit her neck. I don't know. Like, just make him a vampire. What?
Be a little bit more cute too. But anyways, Damon calls her late at night and is like, can I come over? And she's like, no, I barely know you. But she doesn't say that. That's what the reader's thinking. But she does hold her ground, and she's like, no, I'll see you tomorrow in English.
Which is honestly the first good thing she's done. She's like, no, we've never spoken. Honestly,
yeah,
so weird.
We made out once.
All of a sudden, he goes from like not speaking to her to like, can we just hang out all the time? And you're like, you guys have never had a conversation. I'm so confused. And this is where my notes end because I got annoyed and I stopped.
Oh wow, we're not even halfway through the book.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I got mine.
I don't know.
We're good. We're about to go to Disney.
Okay, we're going to Disney.
We're at Disney.
Also, Riley
I'm
is
just
currently
kidding.
dressing up in Halloween costumes every day.
Oh yeah, Riley's whatever. Riley, okay, I like her, but she doesn't fucking matter. She doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, she doesn't matter. She's just there.
She's got her own book series though.
Yeah, but she doesn't matter.
We're not doing that. I'm sorry.
Oh,
So-
I will say the books are really short.
Well, that's good. Good
books.
for them.
Good for those books.
And Buttercup has a much larger role in them.
Good for them. No.
Good for Buttercup. Anyways, they stay at Disneyland literally all night until the fireworks show, and the fireworks are red tulips because of fucking course they are.
Well, but
and she's like, he's my boyfriend. And I'm like, no, he's not.
I have a thing to say.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that I
I'm
wanted
an
this book to
emotional
be
support
longer.
animal.
I
You
did
can-
not. But a point I have to make is that this would have been a grand old time to, I don't know, make any of the scenes last longer.
Make them have a fucking conversation.
But
Yeah.
we don't, like, the whole, like, they spend a whole day at Disneyland and we don't see them speak to each other. Like,
no, excuse you. He asked her what ride she prefers.
That's true. They have
he does ask
have
her what ride she prefers, which honestly, if you're gonna do sex, is maybe a good idea. But
What were the two rides? One was Pirates and the other one was
the ghost.
well, yeah, they
Haunted
had
Mansion and the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
she asked him
They
about
just
a
wrote
makeout
those two
ride.
rides.
Right. And then they say something about a makeout ride, but like they don't have a substantial conversation. And here's a thought I had. Like, if you're gonna have two characters who are supposed to be romantic interests, okay, they should maybe have a substantive conversation.
I think it only makes like a shred of sense. I don't think it makes that much sense, TJ. I think that's a pretty outlandish suggestion. However, there's some merit.
But maybe like they
people
should
can say
maybe
what
they
they want about Twilight, but at least we got to see them talk and
They at least
a
have
bit.
like two conversations.
A bit. They got to they chatted a bit.
They went to dinner and they actually
But
talked.
it also the scenes where we weren't explicitly reading their conversations, you believe they had them.
Yes.
right. Like, and that's the thing is like that they don't know anything about each other. You know,
But
and
he
I
thinks
also
he
thinking
does
about
because
thinking
she's
about like
reincarnated.
thinking about like the Vampire Diaries in the first couple episodes. I think even in like episode 1 or something, like Stefan and Elena have a conversation about like high school drama, but then like in the next couple episodes they have conversations about like family and stuff.
Yeah, they
like,
talk.
Like they learn basic, like for Elena, not so basic information about Stefan, like very surface level stuff. But that's actually a problem. Like that's actually one of the driving issues for her is that she doesn't know enough about him. And she's like,
and
I
it
can't
becomes a source of conflict.
Yeah, she's like, I can't be in a relationship with someone who won't speak to me.
Yeah, which makes fucking sense.
And she's like, you won't talk to me, so I don't understand. And so then
he cooks her dinner.
And then he cooks her dinner. It's like a whole thing. But so you actually see them talk to each other. And in this, they're in love. They don't speak to each other. I'm sorry.
This is Chronicles of Ixia. Sorry, Mara. I know you like that series, like deep down inside, but like, this is.
The difference is though. Poison Study took place over the course of a year, and they lived in the same apartment together for the majority.
Yeah,
of that.
I give you that, but they still never spoke.
We didn't see much of it, no.
Oh gosh, that is more believable than this, and I wouldn't even pick that up off the shelf. What does that say about this? Well,
I don't buy it.
This is on like such a tall shelf. I don't even see it. This is like at Sam's Club or Costco, like the big stuff at the top that you can't really see what it is because it's super wrapped in saran wrap. That's where this is. I can't even see it, so I'm not picking it up.
Let alone buying it. So what am I supposed to do with this? Like, they don't speak, and honestly, we'll get to the really ridiculous shit later. But anyways, they're at Disneyland and we see none of it. And then honestly, they leave,
and then it's time to go home.
And then literally she describes some of the stuff She could have just shown us, and I'm like, girl, how do you have a bunch of people editing this book and nobody goes, maybe show them speaking?
Yeah, and then because they both drove their own cars to Disney. And he's like, I'll follow you home. And
then he just fucks off.
Yeah.
And then we find out that Evangeline's missing and that Drina was at Disney that day.
Well, okay, because Haven calls her and she realizes that he's no longer following her. So Haven is like, one of my friends is missing. And she's like, I don't see his Ferrari behind me. And so she's fucking
It's a BMW, thank you.
Or whatever. And so she's like,
it's
I don't
a
see
black
his car.
Beamer.
So she is so distracted that people are flipping her off. She's almost getting into wrecks. And she just does not give a shit that her best friend has another friend that is missing. Okay? If one of y'all called me, all right, and like, you know, and somebody's following me and I just don't see their car, like, that's fine. I'm more focused on the fact that you're like, one of my friends is literally she just doesn't
because I ditched her in a club and now I haven't been able to find her since.
I would be like, you and I have so much more to talk about. I'll call Damon later. Like,
yeah, like, fuck Damon. He's the one who is no longer behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she's driving down. It's not weird. Like, we know that he actually like did ditch her, but it's not weird to lose sight of someone on a freeway.
No.
Also, he knows where you live. Like,
yeah,
it's fine. He'll meet you there.
And then Damon calls her, but she lets it go to voicemail, and then she deletes the voicemail. The next morning, Riley's like, maybe I shouldn't be here, and then just disappears. And then she goes to school, and Damon is waiting for her, and she avoids him. And
like a baby.
Yeah. Then the White Rose Girl, she announces White Rose Girls, all of her dirty secrets in front of a bunch of people, and it doesn't matter. And then this is when the tattoo starts, and Damon is at her house when she gets home. And
he's like,
they go up to her room.
Well, he's like, what have I done to upset you or something like that?
Yeah. And then she's like, well, you ditched me last night. And
but also
like,
it's like a whole lot of nothing because you guys have never spoken.
Yeah. And Riley's also here for this conversation, and it seems like Damon can see her because of course he can. He's a love interest in a supernatural YA book. So of course he can see her. And he keeps pulling fucking red tulips out of thin air, and it's just stupid.
Yeah, he's being like really fucking obvious about it, honestly. Like,
then they go on a date to a horse race track.
Yeah, this was so weird. Like, and he's like, "All right, do the betting." He wins like an astronomical amount of money,
$500,000 over.
Yeah. And so does she.
Like,
what does she do with this money?
She takes her aunt out to dinner. She takes her aunt out to dinner.
Okay, we'll say that's like $200.
I can't
she gives $100.
She buys something else.
She gives $100 to White Rose bitch.
Yeah.
What does she do with the other $9,700? Are they just in cash in her wallet? She should get robbed. If you have $10,000 in cash in your wallet, you are asking to get robbed.
I don't know.
Put it in
Honestly,
your mattress or in a bank.
Gets given to you, like,
but it doesn't.
Or something,
but it doesn't matter anyway because as we find out later, she can just manifest shit. Do you need money?
Can you imagine what that would do to the economy? Like, you know,
the dollar would be worth less than what a yen is worth, or a won is worth, and won and a yen are worth like nothing.
You know, we're adults because we're going, can you imagine the inflation rate? Like,
anyways, yeah, they do that, and then they ditch school the next day, and he takes her to a hidden cove, and he tries to have sex with her, and she's like, no thanks. So then he goes surfing, and then she goes home because she's like, I can't find him.
Then she can't find him, so then she leaves, and she's all pissy.
And then she talks to Riley, and she's like, "Man, Riley, I'm sad." And then Riley just disappears because that's what Riley does, and I can't blame her. And then Haven shows up saying that Evangeline is dead, and then Damon is here also, because of course he is. Why did my okay.
And yeah, no, he's like, and then Haven goes off in a huffy huff because they're so concerned about the fact that her wrist is so infected it's starting to rot off.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
And then
that people are like, you're about to die of toxic shock.
And then
I would
Damon's
be
like,
offended. Like, how dare
Damon's
you?
like, we shouldn't do this because, of course, Edward, we shouldn't do this. And she's like, are you breaking up with me? And I'm like, you're not even dating. You can't break up, but it's okay. And then it's the weekend.
Again, I was thinking, like, you've never spoken.
And Sabine goes out of town, and it's the weekend, so Damon stays the whole weekend.
Also, by the way,
except for when she wakes up and he's gone.
Damon is just not eating. He's just drinking his drinkity drink.
He's just drinking his
and
protein
the one
shake.
time she brings us up, one time she's like, wow, you know, eat. And he's like, to like a donut. And he's like, better. And she's like, I don't know. And that's it. Hello.
And then he's like, yo, I gotta go take care of some housework on Sunday. So he goes home. And she's thinking that it's weird. And
she's like, Riley, where does my boyfriend live? And she's like, oh, in a gated community.
So it's time to break into his house because that's the logical explanation of what to do next. Is your boyfriend sketchy? Break into his house.
No. No.
Is that not what you did with Noah?
No. Well, no. Just go for
it is
a
funny. Because I was in Christian's house before I even met Christian, so but there was a party at his house, and I was invited to the party at his house because he was in a frat. So I was at that frat party, but I didn't know he lived there. I didn't know who he was. So
come here.
I will say though, Faith doesn't like. We can't really compare Faith not breaking into Noah's house, like because other people lived there. She would get caught.
That's true.
Also, he wasn't
though,
emancipated,
he and I were,
even though he was in his 20s.
But the thing is, like, he and I were friends
for a year
before we started dating.
You mean you actually spoke to him more than twice?
Yeah, so like I didn't need to break into his house.
TJ, are you telling me you talked to Noah before you started dating? Is that a prerequisite?
I mean, it should be. Is that not how I'm supposed to do it?
No.
Do we need to break up?
I haven't spoken to Christian in 4.5 years. I don't know what you mean.
Were we? Noah.
Stixie and I have 2 kids, and we've only had 6 conversations in 10 years.
We've been doing it wrong. We're not supposed to talk.
You're supposed to just look at each other in angst. That's all it is. Just angsty looks.
We're not supposed
That's how Mara got 2 kids, was angsty looks.
I'm sorry. Go back to your games.
Anyways, his huge house. We break into his house, and it's huge, and it's very empty, except we find a room full of ancient quote unquote relics. It looks like she says it looks like it's out of Versailles, with paintings of Damon from all different time periods on the walls, because of course.
I'm very
if I lived
curious,
for 600 years, I would too.
Like, because there's a portrait of him that is clearly identifiable as him. Right. By Picasso.
I'm sorry.
Yes. That doesn't make any sense. I thought that too. It doesn't make any sense. Because Picasso didn't paint real likenesses. He was painter, but it's fine, whatever. It's fine. I don't care. I only have a degree, and I'm getting my second degree in this. I don't care. Why would I care?
Could it be painted in the same vein as his because I just googled Picasso portraits to see what his portraits look like, right? And his first self-portrait versus his last one. His last one doesn't even resemble a person. Like it. His first one though does resemble.
Well,
a person.
yeah, because typically, artists during the time where we were moving away from representationalism, they're still trained to be representational artists.
So
That's how you're
perhaps-
trained.
So perhaps he painted.
It was an earlier
Damon.
work. That's the
Yeah.
only way it would make sense. Is
Yeah,
if it was an earlier
mayhaps
work.
he painted him in like 1867. Oh, sorry, 1897. Sorry, I was looking at a 6.
It'd have to
The
be an
first one
early
is
work.
1896.
It said something like
So-
1902, I believe, was the year
Okay.
we were given.
That's
Right.
believable enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's still annoying, but I don't, whatever.
That like fuck, his paintings are weird.
But
Yeah.
also,
Sorry, I'm
if,
the
just looking at
important
them
thing-
now.
if we
Yes.
can just, though, the idea, because all the things that Damon has, okay, are like from all the most famous artists and musicians and all this shit, all the authors that you can possibly think of. And the idea that somebody, and here's the thing too, you have to keep in mind, a lot of these people were not actually famous during their lifetimes.
No, most of these people weren't.
Most of these people were not famous during their lifetimes. So, like Picasso was.
Like, did
Well,
he
the
make,
Emily-
was there a not Da Vinci, Van Gogh? Did he
Yeah.
have something by Van Gogh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Van Gogh wasn't famous when he lived.
Well,
He was
also,
literally a starving artist. He was the
um,
definition of a starving artist.
Well, and-
he has a signed by Emily Bronte, Wuthering Heights. She didn't publish under her name.
No.
She was a man.
Yeah.
Like according
She had to have a
to
pseudonym.
the readers.
So you also
Inaccuracies.
so you also have like the thing where, like, first of all, the idea that he would have known that all these people who were not famous during their lifetimes were going to become famous.
Well, maybe he taught Van Gogh too.
Stupid.
Van
So there's
Van Gogh was
that.
mentally ill. That's why he painted the way he did. Whatever. It's fine. Whatever.
So there's also that. But then there's
Just hurts
also
my head.
but then
Fine, I'll take care of the kid.
but
As always.
oh my god, go away. So there's stop. So there's that fact, and then so it just doesn't make sense because that's too many coincidences. Like one person,
Yeah.
maybe,
For
if
sure.
you were running in the right circles at the right time in the right
Like
country.
Shakespeare, fine. I'm fine.
But
with
Shakespeare works.
Shakespeare is a bit more complicated though as well, like because
He was still famous enough during his lifetime.
but also like it's unclear exactly what was written by Shakespeare, and Shakespeare's
that's also
complicated.
true.
Shakespeare's complicated.
Da Vinci makes sense. Da Vinci was famous during his lifetime. He was a very
Yeah.
notorious painter during his life. That one,
Yes.
that one's indisputable. Makes sense. He was very
Yes.
famous.
But again, all of these people, but you also have to consider too that the way that news travels during these periods, because if you are not in Italy during Da Vinci's lifetime,
You don't know.
you probably do
really.
not know who this is. Like,
No.
especially if you are just kind of in a backwater town in Germany.
Oh, you
like-
definitely wouldn't. No,
Like if
no.
you were in Berlin, maybe. But if you're in anywhere else,
X City.
X city in Germany, you have, or you know what? It doesn't matter. We're gonna pretend
In
like it was
Prussia,
Germany
whatever.
at the time. We're gonna pretend like it was we're gonna call it Germany anyway. If you were in X city in Germany at the time, you would have no idea who Da Vinci is. So we're also making a lot of assumptions.
Did he
here.
actually meet Da Vinci?
Yes.
He has
Is
something.
Basically,
he has either
if
a
you-
portrait or something signed.
If you can think of a famous person from Europe in the last
Oh,
600
Da
years,
Vinci's not
came and
mentioned
met
in-
them. Da Vinci's
Da
definitely mentioned because I freaking
Oh wait, no, there it is. Okay. I was also a good friend of Leonardo da Vinci, Botticelli, Francis Bacon, Albert Einstein, and John, Paul, George, and Ringo. There we go. So him knowing Da Vinci isn't too weird, considering he probably became immortal around.
Oh, that was around 600 years ago. That would
Yeah.
make sense.
Yes,
Especially because
Da Vinci was probably
he's Italian. He's from Florence. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because
he's
Da Vinci was
he was
notorious around
probably
all of
born-
Italy.
Yeah, he was probably born around the same time as Da Vinci.
My only
That
point,
one
though,
we can say
is that
makes
for a
sense.
lot of these people and during a lot of this time, if he was hiding out anywhere, the way that news would have traveled during this time, like, because, you know, if you're immortal, like, are you going to hide in a small town? Probably. So, okay, then how are you going to know?
He would have
let's
had
be honest,
to be
he was
in
not kicking it
capital
with
cities the
Einstein.
entire time. No.
He was not kicking it with Einstein. I refuse to believe
No.
that.
And sorry, it just the more educated I become, the more this shit bothers me. Like, you know,
The author
like,
should have kept it to just like Italians. It would have been so much more believable if it was just Italians.
well, and the thing that, like,
So
and
much
now,
more believable.
and now I'm going to go back to the Vampire Diaries. Like, a lot of, you know, like the originals were around for a lot of things, but you never
Mhm.
get them kicking it with historical figures.
No.
They were around.
Like, they were peripheral. Like, I mean, like, they were chilling out in a castle with, like, a lord or whatever it was. I can't remember what kind of lord he was. But when you think about it, it was probably a minor lord who had a lot of wealth.
Well, and also like in Outlander, they meet a few historical figures because they're running in the circles. Like during the Jacobite Rebellion, they meet the Bonnie Prince Charlie because they're higher up in there, and then they meet George Washington because Jamie is like a direct subsidiary of a lord, and he has land from a lord, so he goes to things in Virginia where old Georgie's hanging out.
But also, it's also
Yeah,
because
who's the one that goes back in time in Outlander? Is it him?
no, it's
No.
Claire.
It's Claire.
Okay.
It's the girl.
But it's
He's-
also,
Okay.
He's
but
the
it's also
Scot.
because of George
Oh.
Washington's position at the time that he
Yes.
meets George Washington. Because George Washington, at
Yeah,
the
George
time, was not-
Washington wasn't the guy we know.
because he's
It
not
was
president.
before-
At
no,
the time.
he was just a general. He was an old general at that point. Like he wasn't really actively doing anything. He was just
He wasn't yet
existing.
a founding father.
no,
Right. So
no, because America didn't exist America still doesn't exist in present day Outlander in Book 9. It's still not America.
So the point being, like, if you're gonna do that, you know, better to not.
Make
Like,
it make sense, or just make
it make sense. You know.
It's not hard to make it make sense if you put thought into it. Just think about it, and it'll make sense.
Or just like ask a historian. You can do that too.
Yeah, that's how Diana Gabaldon does.
Apparently,
everything.
she did though.
What? Who? I'm fire them. Sorry.
She spoke to Brian L. Weiss, MD, and Christina Geikers, who showed me a past I never could have imagined.
Who? MD.
An MD.
Brian L.
Yeah.
Weiss.
MD is a medical doctor.
Yeah.
I know, but it says who showed me a past I never could have imagined, which implies she spoke to them about history.
That is definitely not a historian.
No.
I'm gonna Google
That is a
this.
doctor.
I'm gonna Google this guy. Okay. Oh, okay. So with him, he specializes in past life regression. So that's fine. That's fine. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
Past life regression. So what even is he?
And so
He
is
might have a
Christina
medical
Geikers.
degree. He just probably isn't a practicing physician.
Oh,
Probably
he
one of
is a psychiatrist.
Oh, there.
So-
Yeah.
Okay,
That makes
so
sense.
not a historian.
No, so
Still,
I
yeah,
don't. So yeah.
No, I don't think.
I guess
think that she-
maybe it's Sandy. Maybe Sandy's the problem. I don't know who Sandy's last name though. It just says it, and as always, Sandy.
Well, 'cause, like, in
men.
In Patricia Briggs will often thank German experts and historians in her books. Like, that will happen. Anyway, we have
Anyways,
Twas a
Damon's
tangent.
sucking Haven blood. Damon is sucking some blood out of Haven, and so that's when we get the red
And then she
herring
has
of,
a
oh, he's a
meltdown.
vampire. She has a meltdown, and then she wakes up
And
in
then
her
it's
bed.
the next day. It's Monday.
Yeah.
Also, she doesn't remember like most of what happened. So
She doesn't remember
Sunday
Sunday at all,
is
really.
blank. Yeah.
Sunday's a blank, yeah.
And he's like, and then surfing on and he
but she can
gaslights
tell
her.
that something's, yeah, he whole ass gaslights her, and because she's like, something is wrong. She's like, something is wrong, and it has to do with him, and it has to do with Haven. There is something wrong.
Dubs, delete people that gaslight the fuck, because also he's been gaslighting her this whole time, like. So there's some Twilight shenanigans going on here too.
But we're friends with Haven again, so that's good. But Ever's feeling like sick because her memories were like fucked with. And then like she just won't talk to Damon, so they're in English class and he just makes everyone pass out. And I was like, oh, are we gonna finally get answers? We don't really get answers.
Well, because they don't talk.
No, because she's like, tell me what you are. He's like, I'm not a vampire. So it's like the opposite of the Twilight conversation where it's like,
what are you?
Say it
out loud.
Fucking hilarious. Yeah, iconic. That is iconic. And he can read her mind as well. And he's like, I'm an immortal, which whatever the fuck that means.
He's immortal.
Can I get an outline of the parameters of what
you drink your immortal juice and then you become an immortal.
It's fucking blood. It's blood. I'm sorry.
And then if someone we're gonna have to talk about the chakra thing after we get to like the
dream. Oh my god, that came out of fucking left field.
I'm pretty sure that's a conversation we also had. Like if you're accidentally going for a walk, right, and you accidentally bump the chakra of someone, or does the intent have to be there? Does the intent to hit the spot have to be there?
Well, no, because she didn't have the intent. Because she didn't know.
No, but she intended to hit her.
I don't know, man.
Do you have to know that you're gonna Care Bear stare? Or, by the way, spoilers. This book ends on a Care Bear stare. Goodbye. Like
this book ends with a classic PC and Kristen cast. Love defeats evil.
TJ for President 2024 or something. You know,
you're too young.
It doesn't matter. TJ for President. Whenever I can run, my first act and probably my only act will be to ban Care Bear stares. From anything middle grade is fine, but above middle grade, no more Care Bear stares. Kill the things with violence, or don't kill them at all. Like, I'm done with Care Bear stares. Either kill it or befriend it. Grow a pair of balls. I'm done with this crap.
So let's go with so the heart chakra, right, which is where she.
Okay, back up. We're not there yet. We're not there.
Okay, but I've got questions.
Just save it. Save it for later.
We'll be there. We'll be there soon.
We're 10 chapters away. Okay, we're getting there.
We're almost there.
And he's like, I found you when your parents died and you were dead, and I brought your soul back to your body. And she's like, I hate you, fuck you, bye. Never talk to me again. So he does indeed go away. And it's been like weeks. And Ava, the psychic from earlier. No, not yet. We're not there yet.
Not yet.
We're so close. We're so close. We have to get almost killed by Drina first.
Doesn't the alcohol happen before?
No, it happens after. I read this today, so I remember very well.
I swear the alcohol happens before Drina.
It does.
It does?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Yeah, you're right. Because it's after Ava, though.
Okay,
it's after Ava's like...
alcohol, Drina. Okay.
It's Ava's like... hey, I want to help you. And she's like, no. And then Haven gives her alcohol. And then...
And Ever discovers that if she drinks, it dulls all of her psychic abilities. So she just goes on a weeks-long drinking binge. And then she's at school, and she's drinking, and she puts vodka in a water bottle. Stasia finds her. She like takes a photo of her, and then she's like, honestly, though, it's really dumb because she has a photo of her drinking liquid from a water bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Go dump it out and put water in it.
Rinse it out a few times, it won't smell like vodka.
Mhm.
Super easy.
And then just rinse your mouth out a couple times just to make
It
sure that your
is.
mouth
It
good.
is.
And
the
then just
most
act
simple-
sober.
It is the most simple thing in the world. You dumb bit. Here's my thing. All right. Not that I
You
want
don't
my
go
kids,
get sloshed.
not that I want my kids to drink in school, but I swear
No.
to God, if y'all get like to my future kids, if you guys ever, if y'all get caught this easily, I will be more disappointed in you for that than
Same.
just for doing it. I'll be disappointed in you for doing it, but if you get caught this easily, you're an idiot. You're an idiot for doing it.
I raised you better.
But even dumber, like it looks like this. Rinse it out and put real water in it, you dumb fucks. Just because, like, and then you can be like, teacher,
Shush.
drink.
Shush.
I cannot.
I did get drunk at school once.
I didn't.
I did once. Me and my friend, we had it was like it was Smirnoff Ice, which was like a mix. And I had my MTV bottle and she had her Sprite energy bottle. Chugged those, filled them up. It was good. And drinking it in class. Nothing ever happened.
No teacher
And
is
like,
going to see
and we
you
were like
drinking.
beyond tipsy. We were
Yeah,
like,
no
we were
teacher
beyond
is going to
tipsy.
see you drinking a clear liquid out of a water bottle and go, "That's vodka." No
not
one's
gonna
going to
happen.
do that. Unless you're acting belligerently stupid, then that's when you're going to get in trouble. But also, just don't do that. If you're going to be smart, don't do it, but just be smart if you're going to.
I mean, I will happily admit I was a freaking moron. Like,
Yeah, right. Oh, kids would vape
But-
in the back of our classrooms and then like
oh god, that's
into
even
a water
worse.
bottle. They would go like into the water bottle.
But
You know
mean,
what? You know,
Yes,
if you
do
wanted
it.
to,
I'll send a message of who it was.
you know when you want to, you know what you do if you want to discreetly vape.
And then you just hold it. Yeah.
Look, it's just.
I sent you who it was in the private chat. You're not going to be surprised.
Oh no, I know. I'm already.
It was in
hold on.
senior.
And there's nothing.
Yeah.
I was thinking. Okay, I'm just gonna say it out loud. I was thinking Woody.
Yeah, right. Like that's not even his real name, so yeah, that's fine to say.
Yeah, 'cause that's not his real name, so it doesn't matter. That's
was his
that's why I said
nickname.
it. That's the
But,
only
like,
one. That's not his real name.
That was
Huh?
his self-proclaimed
That was
nickname,
me.
and then he was like, "Stop calling me that." And it's like,
Yeah,
well,
that
then
was
don't come to
That's
our
why that's
school.
the only
and
one I
say-
said out loud because that's not his real name.
I'm not
Anyway.
but like I've
surprised I
had
knew
times where I've stupidly like haven't been thinking. I've walked into a shopping center and I've either vaped just before I walked in and I haven't exhaled yet, or I do it just after. I'm like, fuck. So I just hold my breath for about 20 seconds and
and then it's gone. Yeah.
then it's gone.
Just like that.
Mhm.
But anyway, she gets suspended for 3 weeks, and then it's Christmas.
Well, she gets suspended
And-
for 1 week and then she's off for 3 weeks though because it's 1
Yeah.
week and then Christmas. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And then
She's suspended
it's
until
canyon
right.
party time.
And then it's party time, and so Ever's drunk and is driving around because of course she is, because she's queen of bad decisions right now. And then we run into Drina, and Drina's like, "I'm in love with Damon, and then you keep coming along.
He's
Well,
my
not
only stop
husband.
loving
It's
me."
her. Damon is her husband.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I really just don't care.
Yeah,
She's
he's
not
like,
compelling. She's not a
He's my
compelling
hubby
villain.
poo. I tried to kill you before and I'll do it again. I've killed you so many times and you two never had sex. And every time I kill you, he lets me suck his dick again. So I'm gonna kill
So
you
then they
again.
fight, and she almost kills her, and then Damon shows up and heals her, and then they're in an in-between place called
No,
like the
she heals
Sunshine Land.
herself.
No, she heals herself
Because she
with
wanted
the
to
power of
live.
love. No, because Damon never helps in this fight. Because
He
Yeah,
just-
Damon
he
just
just opens
shows
the
up and is
portal.
like, "Let's
Damon
go
just
to the
opens the
Summerland."
portal and he's like, "Come to Summerland," and she goes and she's like, "Why no help?" And he's like, "I just had to know if he wanted to live, man." And that's what he says. He's like,
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna help
Because
you.
he's like, I saved you once before, and you told me you were ready to die. So I just want to make sure that this time around you weren't ready to die.
yeah,
And it's like,
so,
okay, you bitch.
So then they kind of flounce around in Summerland, and in Summerland you can like conjure things. So he's like, think of something, and so she thinks of a giant elephant and whatever. So they just sit around conjuring shit, and then like,
And then,
and then
she's
he's
like,
like-
and then he tells her she can conjure shit IRL too, though.
Yeah, he's like, I made you an immortal. This time
But
instead of
you
all the
don't
other
have-
times because
but also,
you don't have to
she's-
be it.
but also
But
it's
she's
not
like a
clear.
pre-mortal at the moment.
Hmm.
Yeah, which is not all that clear in the text.
No.
I think she has to drink the second. I think you have to have a second drink of the juice. Like, so juice 1 heals, juice 2 solidifies.
That's not super clear though. Like honestly,
She's gotta drink
I
some
know.
more.
It's
You
not,
gotta drink
it's
more
not
protein
clear, but
shake.
I've read this series multiple times, so from memory, that's what
Otto, what are you doing?
it is. One juice heals, 2 juice immortals. And
So
I don't
anyways-
think it matters how long the gap is.
So then he's like,
Yes.
say it out loud that you love me. And she's like, I can't. So then they're just kind of not together for a while. And then
And that's when I thought the book should have ended. Right here.
But then how could we have our chakra showed up?
so then like Riley goes. And then after that,
she crosses
Yeah,
the
Riley
bridge
crosses over into the afterlife.
and then Drina
because
shows back
Ava-
up and she's like, Mwahaha, round 2, bitch nachos. And then she just kind of
Round
taps
2
her.
Electric Boogaloo.
She shoves her in the chest and
then Drina dies. And then Damon's like, Yahoo, I'm here back again. And
Yeah, so
and she's like, I could have died. And he's like, yeah, but like I just wanted to like double check. And it's like
and he's like, I
And
was
she's
curious
like, I'm
to
in
see
love
if the
with
chakra
you.
thing would happen.
Noah, I have a question.
Oh yes.
I have a question. Why would you do that without me? Anyway, I have a question. You're gonna have to
Oh,
rewatch.
so you've never watched Gun Interview without me?
That's not the point. You're gonna have to rewatch it with me. So my question is, would you like let me fight for my life without helping me? Like
Just to see if you cared enough.
Somebody who can absolutely kill me. Like
Just
I'm
to see
about
if you
to
wanted
die.
to live, to test it.
Just to
What's
see.
the situation?
I'm about to
No.
die.
Doesn't matter. What
Wait, take your headphones out. I'll explain the situation.
Why are you fighting for your life?
Here.
Okay.
Here.
Okay, wait,
What?
Let me know. Okay, so the situation is you're 600 years old and you have an ex-wife,
Okay.
and she likes to kill Bay. So she
Loves
can
it.
suck
It's her
dick
hobby.
again. And she wants to kill her again, and you're not sure if she cares enough about life to live. Do you sit there and watch your ex-wife kill her so she can suck your dick again, or do you protect her?
Ex-wife? You
No.
said you.
No.
Yeah, no, ex-wife is trying to kill
Oh
her.
yeah, she's fine.
dying.
Yeah, she can handle her own business, I think. You didn't say ex, you said you. There's a difference.
No.
Ex-wife is trying to kill Bay.
TJ's the one dying. Ex-wife is trying to kill her.
Oh,
And she's also 600 years old and can kill her.
how old are you? Have I known you as long?
16.
Six.
You have known her soul for 600 years.
Yes, she keeps on
But
getting
you've never gotten to have
reincarnated.
sex with her.
She keeps getting reincarnated because your ex-wife keeps killing off.
Because your ex-wife won't stop murdering her, so you can never have sex with her. No, we need answers.
To quote Dr. Sarazawa from Godzilla King of the Monsters, let them fight.
Okay.
To be
Cool.
fair, wait.
He
To
would
be
let
fair,
you
I
die?
don't think he would actually let you die.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think
He's
so
just
either.
being a dick.
I think he's just being silly.
Girl who was supposed to win in the end.
You know what? That's not the point.
Anyways, the power of love kills Drina. That's the moral of
No.
the story.
Her inability
In her
to
fourth
love,
chakra. Yes.
Her
Love in her
inability
fourth
to
chakra
love.
killed
But
her.
the chakras just come so out of nowhere.
Okay,
It's the
So-
last chapter, and he's like, "You got her fourth chakra. Good
And I
job."
was
Yeah.
like, her what? Like I know what
So-
chakras are, but like
Let me shush. So what this
Yes.
establishes, and this gets reestablished as it goes, when there is a mortal, they each have their one biggest
Weakness.
fault. Drina's was her inability to understand true love or whatever.
is Ever's her
Right?
inability to fucking think.
I don't know.
Is it her
okay?
brain chakra?
But so then if you do a shove or a tap or whatever on the chakra, they die, right?
That is such an insane
But it doesn't-
weakness.
But what
So what if
it
someone
doesn't-
just like
but we
Ever's
don't
dead?
ever yeah, like we don't ever find out though if there has to be intent to cause that person harm.
Because if it's like
Because
her
in
thinking
theory,
chakra,
if someone is anxious, right? Like their biggest weakness is how anxious they are. That is your root chakra, right? I'm looking at a chart.
okay.
Okay? Your root chakra, which is your feet. If someone accidentally steps on your foot and you're an anxious motherfucker, do you just die? Or do they
you
have to
just
want
dead?
to stomp
Well-
on your foot?
well, and if you're an idiot, which would be like your head chakra, I think, right?
Cynicism,
Would, be like-
disregarding
Stupidity.
sacred, closed-mindedness, and
Stupidity.
disconnection with spirit.
would that be up here?
That is your crown chakra.
Okay. So
Okay.
if,
Someone just has to
so if Damon kisses the top of her head, does she just boop, like into not? Does she die?
Yeah,
is she just a pile of clothes?
Or if
Like
she,
I'm pretty sure one of them, right? I can't remember who, but there ends up being an immortal in the series. I'm pretty sure where their third eye chakra, which is like here,
Yeah.
is their weakness. So like I'm just like you could just go to someone and
They're dead.
that is
kill
the
them.
worst way to kill people I've ever heard of. Like
That is a
I mean,
horrible lore.
I mean, at least like with the throat chakra, right? Like at least you have to do like a throat jab.
Yeah, like
to
that's
do-
more purposeful.
Yeah, but like if someone was being a dum dum and you went like could you accidentally kill your friend by just flicking them in the forehead?
apparently, yes. Or do you have to
So-
also be filled with love? So if you flicked them in the forehead with love, always love.
Well, no.
side
Because
chat.
the love thing maybe was only because her weakness was love.
I don't know if I should say that out loud. So,
But like, so we don't know if the love aspect, right, was because like it balanced. It was like the opposite of the weakness.
So if a
So
smart
perhaps-
person bops Ever on the head, she'll die.
Maybe.
Oh,
But again, we don't.
Ever, you're
But
in
again,
danger.
That's
Don't
it though.
drink
I
the juice.
don't think Drina has gone 600 years without anyone touching her chest, especially considering she's been married to
she was
Damon for
married
600
Damon.
years. So I feel like there has to be some level of intent to do harm. to
But
the
there wasn't
person.
some kind of level of intent for Ever to do harm. Like she didn't mean to kill her, is what I mean.
No,
meant
but she still
She meant to be like, get
Like-
away.
Let me find.
I'm gonna walk up to him and I'm gonna push him. That's what she did.
Yeah, she was like,
Let-
I'm push her.
Okay, let's find the actual thingy, right? I swing my fist toward her, my body so feeble, clumsy, and defeated. I am surprised. God, there are so many typos in this. I am surprised when it
Well,
lands
her
square in
amazing
chest.
copy editor would take great offense to that.
It might not be her fault though. It could be this book might have been scanned or something and then converted to a thing. It might not actually be the official one.
I think that's what it was, because there was some typos.
Yeah, there's some weird ones.
Some apostrophes are replaced with tilde.
Yeah, so
and
so
brackets.
she's like, so she has like intentionally punched her. So
But
I'm
intention-
wondering.
I don't know. Yeah, honestly, you know what? The lore is the lore. And
and
the
it doesn't
art
make
is the
sense, and
art.
that's fine. That's the end of the book.
Maybe we get more afterwards, but it's okay.
We care about Sarah
I
Trina.
do.
Trina
This
the
is
best.
only a minor spoiler because you know that there's going to be another villain, and I'm pretty sure
course.
it's safe to guess that they're going to be another immortal.
Well, yeah.
So it's really funny because they're just like, so they're having these discussions of what's his weakness chakra. like that's half the book, trying to discover his weakness so they know where to give him a punch. Like it's like, do we need to stand on his foot? Do we need to flick his forehead? Do we need to bump on the top of the head? Do we need to do a throat?
Do we need a good throat jab?
like,
I love that.
do we need a gut punch?
I honestly don't remember any. And I've read these books. Like, they're not good. Okay,
oh
so
wait, the root chakra is not the feet. I lied because they're all sitting down in it. The root chakra, so the one where it's like you're anxious and stuff.
is it your crotch?
So if you need a dude in the nuts,
or
you would kill them.
Like my mind was going to it's a very crass term. It's got a naughty C word in it.
Oh. Yeah, that too. Well, okay, but taking that to another level, what about sex?
Would a particularly violent thrust do it?
Would that kill you? The lore is
Kill you
unclear.
both if you're having anxious sex. Like,
with a very mellow person.
Dead.
Like the person doing it has to be very mellow.
and so a
Dead.
good hard, and you just explode. Like, this
Cool.
opens.
This opens way too many plot holes.
Opens so many.
Maybe his root chakra is his problem, and that's why he's never gone all the way with her, because he knows that one good thrust
Would just kill him.
would kill him.
Oh my god. Okay. Well,
On that note, the book's over.
yeah. On that note, that's the book.
Is anyone else amused? Amused. Sorry, I actually, you guys might not be, because I don't know. I don't think Americans use this term, but it's the root chakra. And root in Australia is a euphemism for doing fuck.
Oh, no, that's not a
For
euphemism.
what?
For
For
coitus.
doing fuck.
Oh no, we
It's
don't have
not
that.
Like if you bang someone, you've rooted them.
Ah, okay.
Well, you guys
That's
just
funny.
learned something.
That's funny.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of fuck buddies are referred to as wombats,
Oh.
because they eat roots and leaves.
Yeah. Oh.
It's a thing.
So anyway, we're gonna, I guess, do the next book next. I don't know what else we're gonna do. I don't think we have anything else up next.
Okay, we've got this, Ixia, and the Eagle series.
Yeah.
So we'll work out.
We'll figure out what to
We'll
do.
work
figure
next.
it out.
Yeah.
Oh, but
So-
also, I meant to say this earlier. We're in the middle of a reboot for these two, but for me, it'll be the first time. I think we have Lux on the horizon. We have Kitten and Agape Moo. That's what I know them as.
Yeah, that's
We
right.
have
We did
Kitten
say we were
series
gonna
and
redo
Agape
them,
Moo.
didn't we?
Because I've never read them,
And we always talk about them. And I don't have those streams up here, and yeah, I think it would be fun to revisit that. Like,
Well, especially
I
this
would- I
time, like, we don't always, like, it's very often that we've read, at least one of us, if not all of us, have read the books that we're reviewing.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be fine.
I think it'll be
Yeah.
fun.
So we're doing
Plus
some
also-
revamps of some things we talk about a lot.
Agape Moo.
Yeah, so we're doing some revamps. Yeah,
And-
we're doing some revamped ones of,
Kitten.
because also I think I do have some of the older Covenant streams on here, but
Covenant, that's what it is. Covenant
Yeah.
Lux.
Yes, that's
But
Agape Moo.
I'll probably, but we will probably just like get rid of those, and or maybe I'll leave them up, and then I'll just add the new ones to the playlist.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wasn't in the old ones, so.
And I think you'll enjoy them.
Oh, I know I'm gonna enjoy them because I've read excerpts of them because I already have. I think I have Lux. I don't know.
You have the
I don't know
Covenant
which one I have.
series.
You got
Okay,
something.
I have some. I have the Covenant series, and I've read excerpts of it, and it's bad. And I love
And-
Jenny. And I'm ready.
Yes, you've experienced some Jenny.
Yeah. So anyway,
That PSA.
that's what's going on. So
Yeah.
with that, we'll figure out what we're doing next, and we'll see you guys next time.